That's how we own it.
What's up, family? It's your girl, Tamika D, Mallory.
And it's your boy, Mysonne, the General.
And we are your hosts of Street Politicians,
the place where the streets and politics meet.
Can we use like other people's music, like Back Together again?
Probably not. They probably gonna try to sue us, and
Nah, I think you gotta say, I don't own the rights to this music. That's the jam. Okay. I like that. I like that
song.
Might
work. We'll see.
Oh yeah. Okay. You and I back together again. Yeah, that's the jam. Yeah. They don't know. Yeah, anyway, what is this that you have on today? It's nice.
Oh,
it's orange.
Man. Shout out to Life Journey.
Is it black people stuff?
Black people.
Oh, okay.
The shoes, they got the shoes to match. Let me take one of the shoes off.
Oh, my God. Are you serious?
Listen, we gonna advertise. We got to advertise. This is
and it's, okay, don't put the bottom on the table.
Well, we can clean it off.
No, just hold it.
Lord,
and then I'm going to give you some hand sand. Janice needs to give you the thing when she tried to kill me today. She made me wipe my hands with the hospital. The hospital joint.
But yeah, it's the hospital.
When my mom was in the
That's
hospital,
the cleanest stuff.
And we borrowed the wipes from the hospital.
Borrowed.
We did because they told us to it was pandemic.
Borrowed.
So they told us it was 2020.
Borrow means steal for black people.
We did not
black
steal
people,
it.
when they say we borrowed and they say it in that manner, it
no,
means we actually
took
it.
What happened was because it was the pandemic. They told us to take those wipes and to really clean the house down. It was the beginning of the pandemic, and you couldn't get wipes.
So can I ask you?
Well, I don't want to say I took or stole because I didn't.
So
they gave it to us.
So when do you plan on giving them back?
Well, okay, so borrow is the wrong word, but they gave us wipes because you couldn't get wipes and stuff.
You borrowed them.
Exactly. And so they said on these particular wipes, they said do not use with your hands. And I'm sitting over here. I let this lady give me a wipe. I didn't look at where it came from or what the container looked like, right? Because it's purple and white and it's real industrial stuff. You know that our studio is 2 floors up from a major plastic surgery office with a medical office, right?
Stuff.
So there's medical stuff in this building. So they want to stay COVID free, and so they're doing the extra, not the regular Lysol. So I go and I use it, and all of a sudden I start going, I'm like dying, and she looks at me and goes, "Oh yeah, maybe you're not supposed to be using that."
The drama.
Why don't we put you one over here?
Because I was standing right here when you did it, though.
No, you wasn't. No, I touched it. It probably went through my finger.
Oh, so that's you caught through your fingers.
Yeah. And speaking of nasty. Like super duper nasty.
We know you gonna tell us.
No, I'm serious. I don't feel, this is my personal conviction.
Yes.
I personally do not feel that any group of people should be in a society where you cannot walk up and down the streets or be at a restaurant or just have freedom of eating or living in your apartment without rats. Physical rats running around rampant. That is not okay with me. I'm not not trying to be like bougie too. I'm nobody. I don't care. I don't care if you are houseless. You should not have an influx of rats running around you. Our friend Emil texted me last night and said that he was walking in the middle of the street in Harlem to get home because there was like 4 or 5 rats all around, like on the sidewalks. This is not. It's like imprisonment. It's not cool.
No, it is. The rat thing is out of control. I seen something on Instagram when they had some shit that looked like a beaver and they said it was a rat.
It was a rat.
It looked like a beaver. It's no way. This rat.
They eat well.
The rat was like a raccoon size.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
Now you talking about me being dramatic about the white. Bruh, that rat, it did not look like, it looked different, but it was still the size of these big-ass New York City rats.
No. This rat was about this big.
No.
Yes, it was. They had the trap.
Man, you bugging.
You didn't see it?
It wasn't that big.
Are you kidding me?
But it's a big rat, but it still wasn't that big. I'm just saying it
Just
looked
show it.
different.
You show it. Listen, we need y'all to show it to the people.
Why would they want to see that?
Because
Why
you trying to
and
tell
you
me.
keep sending it. Stop sending me that
No,
stuff.
because this is what you into.
No, I'm not.
You
I'm not
into the
into
rap.
seeing it. I'm into trying to stop it. I'm
So, but
literally.
you gotta see
I
what you
am
need to
going
stop the
contact
rats.
the mayor of New York City and tell him that I want to be on the task force. I
For
said
rats.
this before, but I need to do it for real. I want to be on the task force
For
to
rats.
deal with rats. It is not fair. And just now, somebody else sent me a video where the rat is running through the fried chicken spot. Now, in the food, eating
In the
the
Bronx.
chicken.
Lord have mercy.
Now, here's the problem with that, right? Here's the issue, and I've been
Issue is
saying
in the
this
Bronx.
for a while. First of all, when I go out somewhere, I ain't gonna lie, it's if I'm coming back from a long drive or if I go out and I'm clubbing or whatever, I go by the chicken joint and get me a piece of chicken. I mean, that's just a normal thing. Sometimes you in the middle of your day, you hustling and you need something to eat and you just don't have an opportunity to go. I don't eat fried chicken like that anymore, but the fried chicken joint is a part of the culture of
Yeah, it's
you
part
in
of
New
the-
York, you live in the
New
hood,
York
you understand.
experience.
That's what it is. And you telling me I've never ever, and I'm not saying it wasn't there before, but the point is now all of a sudden the rats they are just bold in the day out in anywhere.
It's more cameras and more access. So we just been.
Nah, there's more rats. I mean, that's.
I don't know.
No, it has been verified. Them people that study rats and underground and stuff, because during the pandemic, when they moved the restaurants outside and the garbage was not being properly contained, then they had. This is what took place. Like, I hope that you guys put in this footage. I'll send you a picture of the garbage built up near a woman's house that I know. I went by to visit her, and the garbage is disgusting. It's bags of garbage everywhere, and her house is extremely clean, but there's no way that or it's just a matter of time. Put it that way. Even that lady that we saw on Lisa Evers' show that had the rats with the you said beaver in the house, it doesn't look dirty, but the rat is running through her child's clothes.
There's no limit to where these rats can go.
No,
These rats they've reached an all-time high. I don't know if it's the numbers
I'm
are different.
telling you, the numbers are different.
You saying that.
They
But
multiply.
What I'm saying is the boldness. They come out.
eat.
They stand up on their hind legs. They giving you five.
You know,
I
I was
they
about
coming-
to say, yo,
they coming to
I
the
thought
games
you
and
was
shit.
for real, like they
No.
was standing on it, because I was
They
about to
shopping
say,
and everything.
now, if you want to see, if y'all want to get a call that I'm at the
They gonna walk up to
hospital,
you like, yo, what's up, Tamika? You got a problem with us?
because that's
You
what it
beefing
seems like.
with
It
us?
seems like people are trying to make us accept rats as
The
part
rats
of
is trying to
society,
make
and
you
I don't
accept
even know
it.
what people I'm talking
I mean, in
about.
so many
but-
different dimensions, you don't even understand how real that is. It's not even just in the physical form of rat, but the rats want to be accepted. They want to
They
be
want you to
a
accept the
functional
rats.
part of society. And the physical rats are really speaking for the rest of the rats.
You
I'm saying,
is
they be
a
like, listen,
fool.
if you gonna accept them,
You a fool.
then you might as well let us come outside.
You a fool.
Yeah, they can chill on the blocks with y'all. They can outside every week.
Yeah, but we're not gonna accept this. I'm not.
Listen.
I'm telling you, I'm going full fledged.
The
I
rats
might
is
take.
taking over, man.
I may take a leave of absence to go work for the mayor's office in the department where they deal with rats. I'm dead serious about this. This is not something I'm playing about. Now, here's my final point. Not my only. This is my final point for today on this issue.
For today.
Uber Eats, DoorDash, and all of that, you don't know, right? Like, you don't know. If we're seeing the rat eating the chicken in the window, if you know anything about the chicken spot in New York, you see the chicken. It's right there. How the hell does the rat even get up the thing and in the thing? And ain't the thing supposed to be closed? The glass where the chicken is behind
I
the
don't know,
glass?
because sometimes I don't know if some of these things is being set up or they just
Nah,
like,
bruh.
I don't know, because that shit don't even make. How are they getting inside?
Probably
there?
coming. Well, because first of all, which you and I already know, if you eat at the chicken spot, you already eat nasty anyway. Like,
Yeah,
you
we
already
call it a
know
dirty chicken.
that you
We going to
know
get a piece
it's
of dirty
a
chicken.
Dirty chicken.
Yeah, we acknowledge that. Okay,
I went to the
Habibi and them
dirty
is over
chicken
there. They
spot.
got little dirty chickens, but it's not filthy.
Don't say Habibi. That's not nice.
Well, that's what we call them. What we call
Yeah,
'em?
but it's not nice. It's actually like derogatory to put it in the context of dirty chicken and then the Habibi.
No, but I'm saying.
But it is true. Most of them.
Most of the Middle Eastern brothers,
Yeah.
they have the chicken spots.
Yeah.
In the
And they're
house.
not that clean.
And
That's just the
they're
truth.
not filthy. You know, they got their
No,
little,
it's
they got
pretty.
their little mop bucket that you see them doing their little sweeps.
No, but it's just not those types of spots. Right,
not,
even the
they
local
in the
Chinese
hood,
restaurant,
it's never
even
gonna be
the local
spotless.
whatever kind of store, when it's local and it's
'cause
the
niggas is
spot,
in there.
it don't be that clean.
It's
That's
not spotless.
it.
Yeah,
It's the
the hood
bodega.
don't have those. They don't have the spotless.
Because I don't eat sandwiches from the regular bodega.
I love me
and
a
look at
sandwich.
that. You
I'm
see?
gonna eat me a sandwich from the bodega.
And you know
I eat
it's
food
nasty.
wait, listen. You know, in my hood, they got this fish, the shrimps, and all that. With the salad, that's one of my favorite meals. I go to the hood to get my seafood meal. It's one of the best meals. Grilled shrimp, boom, boom, boom. They do everything there. So shout out to the Dominicans on 171st and Ogden, man. They got the best food. You hungry?
The bottom,
Go over there and get
no
you some
one is
food.
saying that it's not good, because the local Chinese joint is good. Yeah. The local bodega is good. The local pizza shop, the local chicken joint. I'm not taking away anything from them. And by the way, even if I did, people are not gonna stop.
What, man?
And I eat
tear
it.
it up.
I'm not trying.
Tear it up.
What I am saying is that we all know that when we go to these places, we are going to grade down in terms of what we're going to get from a cleanly perspective. But now, if you got the rats running around in the food, it concerns me, because when you, and by the way, just so we make it clear, the local spots might have issues, but there's some major restaurants, these fancy smancy spots.
When you go downtown, the rats is all around them.
And
that's
the
the major
food
spots
is
where
being
you see the
stored
rats.
in the basement. They say that's the worst place.
But that's what I'm trying to say. So
that's not the most place where I see rats.
So when you tell me when you go downtown with all of the top made, when we walk outside of those restaurants, it don't be 30 and 40 rats running down the block all the time?
No.
Are you kidding me?
No. I know exactly where you're talking about, and that particular area, I just can't. I mean, again, it would be perceived in a very discriminatory way if we talked about who is located in that district.
I'm not saying who it is, but I'm just trying to tell you, it's a bunch of rats. All those spots like below 34th Street, 42nd Street and down on those blocks, 5th Avenue and all that. When you come out of those restaurants, it is rats running around.
Yeah, it is.
That is a fact.
I'm not saying. Oh no, you're not. I'm not sitting here making the case that there's not as many rats downtown. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that even, and I'm not just talking about down there. I'm saying that even at Sylvia's, right, in Harlem, because of the way they keep the restaurant there, I've never, and I know there's rats all around there, but I have never walked out and had a rat running outside of Sylvia's, because they keep it super clean. They got the garbage a certain type of way. So we're not talking about black restaurants, so people won't be like, oh, you think white establishments. I'm saying that there are certain establishments, if they don't keep their garbage together, and moreover, which we should really be saying, a lot of these places, just because of the mere fact that they in the hood, they don't try to take care of their restaurant and the grounds and the outside. They pour grease on the ground, which is a problem, because the grease is clearly, it has the seasoning and the smell of whatever in it. It's attracting things. It's nasty. We already have dealt with roaches, and seem like roaches, did roaches go away? Because I don't see roaches. I see water bugs, but I don't see roaches. Right. But all I'm saying to you is beware. Because if you are buying food from Uber Eats and DoorDash and those types of places, you don't know what you're getting. That's all I'm saying.
You never did. You never even
knew but I know, who was giving you the
food.
I'm just telling
Whoever
you.
was bringing you the food, you didn't know who he was. You never met that guy.
Well, now they're starting to seal the things.
You don't know the card. Most of these people card that they be in. You don't even know nothing.
It's nasty. I am cooking more. Because no. Because how about no? I bet you no. So listen, we don't have the time today to get deeply into Tyree Nichols, man. I mean, bruh, like, yo. Like, I know people who are experiencing serious trauma, like at work and everything. My friend told me the other day, Jamie, she told me that they held like a grief session during work, because people are so like emotionally drained that you got to go to work after you watch the lynching. Like, people cannot, this is too much. It's too much. But what I did want to focus on one particular part, and I feel so sorry for the man's family and just his daughter. Like people, I mean, these people have kids, and I have to be honest with you. You know, I feel sorry for the families of 5 people that made the most. Not more than 5. We up to like 7, 8 people at this point. Matter of fact, it's more than that because you got what we said, the EMS workers. Then you have all the officers. So all of these black people that were involved. I am going to say today that I want to believe, and this is my thought that I have been struggling with and trying to process. I want to believe that those black people, I think the number's about 7, that none of them had a mama that taught them that shit or that would agree with what they did. I want to believe that they black mama, black daddy, doesn't matter where dad may be, not in the house, maybe away, whatever, wherever he may be, I still want to believe that even a mama, daddy, whoever, because we know nowadays it could be mom, dad, whoever in prison. I want to believe that parent who might be locked up, even in that situation, is calling their child saying, what the hell was that? Mm-hmm. Why would you be involved? What are you doing? I just need to believe that they were not raised, especially down in Memphis, by parents and a family that supports that type of behavior. Their entire family structure has been completely ripped apart because of a need to uphold white supremacy and a need to feel validated by abusing other people, maybe because they feel that they don't have value. I don't know what it is, but the self-hatred and what that has now caused, it kills me.
It was a gang assault.
It was a gang
assault, and to not identify the police as a gang, right? It's not being honest. And we can say there are good cops. We can say all these things, but there's a structure within the police system that makes you believe, that it feeds into the narrative that black people are dangerous, right? So even when you tell other black people that, right, and they feel like they're protected by this system,
right,
that has always protected them, that had we not seen this on camera, like, only reason that we've gotten justice in any situation is we had pure 100% video, and even times when we've had video, we didn't get justice. So this is a system that makes even black people who go into the system believe that you can get away with harming a black person. All you have to do is say that you feel like your life is in jeopardy. All you have to do is say that they resisted arrest, because these are the narratives that have been painted about us, that we are dangerous, that your life is always in jeopardy when you interact. You can be a kid that's 10 years old, or you can be a man that's 40. You can be a woman who actually could pose no threat, and they can use this same story over and over again. To have no accountability for taking your life. Right. So this is what the system and what's the structure is, and these men fed into that. You know, they felt that whatever reason they pulled that man over and them chasing him, and they felt
whatever the reason, because we don't know the reason.
And there's so many people that want to spread, and until family members, until people that I know and respect can say this has been substantiated, we are sure these things happened.
That it was a prior relationship. Right.
Because I'm just so tired. Listen to me, I've been paying attention to social media, and I've watched social media create so many narratives of one person tweeting, well, what if this happened?
Yeah.
And then what happens is people start spreading memes, and they create this whole thing.
And I mean, it becomes real. Because remember, the woman that was in the video attacking Shanquella Robinson, there was about a good 3 weeks of her being trans. Yeah. Like, she's a trans woman. She, blah, blah, blah.
Now, there's never been.
And nobody has, until now. Now, not to say that she's not. She could be. I don't know. But I do not think so. And it's highly unlikely. And it is also based upon Tyree Nichols' family, highly unlikely. Now, you don't, as family members, mom and daddy don't always know what you was doing, when you was doing what you was doing. They don't always know. But they're saying it's not true, that this story is not true. And it don't have to be true because the police beat up on people all the time.
All the time, especially black people. So, stop looking for something to justify and substantiate people harming black people. Right. That's what we always do. Well, let me see the rest of the film. You can see him punching him in the face. He ain't got his hands up. He's like, please, please. And they be like, well, let me see what caused them to do it. There's nothing that could cause you to just be punching and kicking on somebody. I don't need to see nothing else. If a man is sitting there stomping a woman out and I want to know what she did for me. I don't need to know all of that. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand the mindset that comes with the need to know what has happened before someone has been violated. Like the word, they said a certain word. Well, she said this or he said that. So no, there's no justification. When I look at those things, I know that the handbook for policing, that ain't in the handbook. Right. It's nowhere near the handbook.
Even if he did do whatever. First of all,
once you are no longer a threat, once you are physically not a threat, and you can't harm somebody, and you can see that, there's no justification for you continue to abuse them.
But can I ask you a question? Are police officers allowed to just punch people?
No.
I'm serious. Like, is that a part of the tactic, punching?
No.
Actually, I'm under the impression that that police officers, if they feel threatened, they don't punch, they tase or shoot. It's
illegal use of force.
I mean, maybe they are allowed to punch.
Maybe
those units are like the Scorpions and.
But my thing is, those things violate your rights, your constitutional rights. When you punch me in my face, if I'm not harming you, and there's no need for you to punch me, there's no need for you to punch me in my face.
So if I hit you as an officer, is it just do whatever you got to do?
No, I'm not saying.
I'm asking you, is that?
Sometimes your reflexes, so they can justify and say, well, this person hit me, so that was a natural reflex.
So you're not supposed to have a reflex.
And that's what they're saying. You can't have a reflex. They can grab you, push your face to the ground, be breaking your arm, and you pull up and go, wait, you hurting me. You're resisting arrest. So now they can impose more harm on you. It's not even, these things don't even make common sense. There's no way that you go grab me and be pulling my motherfucking shoulder out the socket and not expect me to try to straighten my shoulder out because you don't hurt me and turn around and get off the floor because you got my face in the ground.
It sound like Plies. He said it hurt. That's
hurts.
Why. It's a simple answer.
It's simple.
Why won't you just stay still? Because I can't. Because it hurts.
It hurts. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what these policies and procedures are.
The policies and procedures are not working. That's what I know.
They're not working.
That's it.
They're not going to work for no man of any level of caliber.
It don't work.
That want to protect his life, that's going to work for him. So y'all going to have to find something else.
I got the stuff back on my hand that needs the wipe.
I bet you're going to leave that wipe alone, though.
No, that thing had me choking. It went through my hand to my nose.
Get you a regular.
Listen. R.I.P. to Tyree Nichols and all the Tyrees.
Yes.
Well, I don't know how you go to the guest from.
Well, listen, we go
this,
from.
We go from laughing to crying. That's right.
Let's
we do.
I
do. Listen, people are mad at me now because I posted a video the other day of this guy in his argument with God, and he is cussing God out. Like, he's so tired and so mad and so saying everything. Of course, the cuss words is a lie. Of course, you never call God out of his or her name. I get it. But he's not talking to God. He's talking to us, and he is making a joke about the frustration that people are feeling. And there's thousands of people who are like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life because I feel like this sometimes.
I feel like it all the time.
And then there's some folks who tell me that they can't believe that I would ever post a video. They can't believe it. They can't believe it. You know what I said? I ain't that perfect. But one thing I do know is that I've seen people, murderers, kill people, hurt people, do all types of things. And guess what? The same book or the same religious or the spiritual beliefs that you have that says don't curse God is the same spiritual belief that should tell you that number one, he still loves you even if you cuss, even if you murder somebody, even if whatever you do, that spiritualness that you have says, judge not. Judge not someone else, because it could be your situation. So guess what? I'm not that perfect. And I also do not reduce my God to a point that he can't take a good joke. I just don't. It was funny.
Take that joke, huh? Made you laugh.
It was hilarious.
It tickled you, huh?
Oh man, it was hilarious.
Some good Christian people.
They so mad, but they'd be all right. They'd be all
They
right.
should use that type of language.
And he wasn't talking to God.
They can't believe it.
I know. One of my friends who really is like a super spiritual person. She's a makeup artist, Kamara from LA. She said, well, she went on to talk about the spiritual journey and how God doesn't put more on you than you can handle, and da da da. And she said, and don't be cussing at my God. But at the end, she said, but that was funny though. I'm like, yeah, you see what I'm saying? Let's not do the extra. You so
have a sense
holy.
Of humor, man. Take a laugh sometimes.
That's right.
God laugh.
Let's bring our guest on because I laughed about this.
Let's bring him on.
Last week we went to see our good friend, Aaron Gadsden, called and said we had to be. Yes. He sent me a text message and told me I had no choice but to get my 2 feet to a movie theater to see the premiere of a film. We're being joined today by 2 of the incredible people that helped to make this film happen. It's called Aurora. When I first saw that, I was like, okay, what is this that A has us, what are we going to see today? And it was all of that and then some. And I want to introduce our guest, Noel Calloway, the writer and director for this project, and also Wakeema Hollis, who is the star actress, the lead actress. I'm going to say, because you're a black woman, so I'm going to say you're a lead actress no matter who else might have been the lead. But you are. And it's an all-black film. It's blackity, black.
Black.
And let me just tell you, say to all of you who are looking, and hopefully you see the beauty of the blackness here. But after the film was over, when you all did your talk back, and you all was sitting there, I don't know if it was the light or what, but it was just beauty from you all the way to the end, where every single person, the young people, the skin, just the poppingness of that black and brown beauty and culture. And the film, which you guys are going to talk about, it was so good from beginning to end. I don't like some people because I'm like walking around holding grudges about some of the things that happened in the film. Yes, but I was actually sitting next to like the worst of them all. What's her name? She's the Latina sister who.
Marilee Kateri is the actress who plays Nina.
Yes.
I'm going to defend Nina a little bit in here today, but not yet.
Not yet. So tell us about the film. What is it about? And then, of course, we're going to get into why all of you got involved.
Yes. So first, thank you guys for, I'm a super fan of the platform, of the work you do. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thank you.
We do a lot of interviews with people we don't necessarily love, but this is real.
Thank you. We love you back.
And so first I'll talk about the beauty. The beauty was important to me, right? From the landscape, beautiful Puerto Rico, to the different shades of brown that I wanted to put on screen, of different ages, of different sizes. I really wanted to show the spectrum of our beauty in a destination wedding movie, right? It's a movie about love, but it's a layered love. Right? It's not,
to say the least,
the la-di-da romantic love that you see a lot of times on screen, and we deliberately started it that way. We wanted everybody to be on this high and this destination wedding with these beautiful people, and then it just smacks you with the twist, the drama. And so, it's a love story with a twist. That's what we like to call it. It's a rom-com. You'll laugh, but then you'll find yourself yelling at the screen and trying to figure out, who you hate. So we're super proud of it.
Yeah.
We're really proud of it.
Yeah.
That's dope. So, what does the name Aurora actually mean?
So, when I wrote, I usually write before I title a film because the title will come to you. The title didn't really come to me. I had to dig a little deeper. And Aurora means a natural phenomenon, which is like a flash of light in the sky. And I used it to symbolize what Wakeema's character Giselle did to Kenny. And that when you see that person and your heart has been protected because of past experience, it takes that type of strong natural phenomenon, that woman, to break through that. And so,
wow,
her name was not Aurora in the film, which I think is the simple way to go, right? Name it after a person. I wanted to name it after a feeling. So that's where it came
from.
So,
Wakeema, being a lead actress, and I love the film, so I know about the film. We're not going to give everybody,
everything, right?
But what made you, when you heard this role, what made you say, like, this is something I want to be a part of?
Yeah, when I read it, I immediately felt that Giselle was a multifaceted woman. And I like that she's a woman who's still on a journey of trying to figure out what she wants out of life, how to get it. And I really love that she's allowed to be imperfect. Because I think too often in life, Black women feel like we have to have it together. We have to be perfect in order to get the guy and get the career and juggle it all. And Giselle is just trying to figure it out. And so I was really drawn to that aspect of her. She's imperfect, but she's figuring it out, and she's getting there.
Well, she figured out a lot as far as I'm concerned. And I mean, you talked about why you wrote this film, so maybe you could tell us a little bit about that today, because I found the story to be very powerful about your own experience and how we see it on screen.
Yeah, so I had the blessing of being married on a beach in Aruba to the woman of my dreams, in front of 60-something of our friends and family. And coming from a kid from Harlem, we didn't travel a lot when I was younger. We didn't have these experiences that now my daughter has.
Of course.
But I know that our culture sometimes needs those experiences, right? Needs that escapism, needs to be able to go to a destination wedding, even if it doesn't happen in their family. Because if I can show it on screen, then maybe someone would think, oh, maybe I can do that, right? And so having that vibe at my wedding with, his friends, family, grandparents, kids, everybody just partying, having a good time, loving each other. And then there's drama and there's craziness and, all of that was something I wanted to bottle up and put into a film. And, my love is kind of boring in that we don't have drama, thankfully.
It's not boring.
Boring to the outside. We are having the time of our lives, but boring, too boring for the audience,
for
right?
the trolls.
Exactly.
It's for the trolls,
Yeah, they don't like that. So I said, all right, we can't tell our story per se, but I'll start with the base of our story, the love in our story, and then I'll let my mind take it where it goes.
Talk about the casting process.
That's what I was going to say.
Sorry.
You right.
So Elsa Lathan, I have to shout our casting director. She was amazing. Melissa Martin, one of our producers, who was very integral in the casting process. I guess we'll talk a little bit about this. I don't watch everything because everything isn't good. It isn't intelligent. It isn't, it doesn't. So I watch a lot of old stuff. So when it's time for me to cast, I'll be thinking about people from The Wire, who we see in this film.
Yes.
I would think of people from, shows and movies that I watched years and years ago that are not necessarily current. And there's so many talented actors and actresses right now. And so I let them take the lead on it, right? There are actors I know, like Ashley Monique Harper, who plays Sophia, Mark John Jeffries, who kills Will.
That's my guy.
So there's some actors that I know Jason Hurd, who plays Tracy, who are super talented and don't always get looks.
Right, of course.
Right? And so I came to it in certain roles saying, these people are playing these characters. Because I know them, I know their talent, I know they'll kill it. Outside of that, I'm going to hand it to casting, and you guys put it out there and let's see who submits and who, we got some, quote, bigger names that submitted. But when I looked at their tapes, they didn't match up to who we casted, right? And so I said, let's just make a great movie with beautiful, talented people, and we'll see where the chips fall.
Cool.
I'm just trying to figure out how do I put my submission, so I need to know the process. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to put my little tape together,
Right.
so I can be in the
So
next
so
film.
now you in that inner circle.
You know what I'm saying?
So
That's it.
So,
yeah.
as I watched the film, I was just, first of all, I love the cast, I love the film, and the plot twist just came out of nowhere. It just was like, so I'm just trying to figure, as a director, and you sitting and you writing these things, like, what was going through your mind? Did you say to yourself, I want it to be just compelling? What was the idea? What was your mind state when you sat down and you just wrote this?
Well, by the way, just so I knew something was happening.
You did?
I was very clear from like 2 or 3 minutes in. I'm like, something's up with her. With, what's her name? Wakeema. What's your Giselle? I gotta see, because I want to call you exactly who you are. Like, I'm ready to be like, you did it. You did. No. But Giselle, I felt like something was happening. So you did a good job of making sure that people are captivated, that I know something is coming, versus just sitting there like, okay. I was like, I saw that look. I saw those eyes, and anyway, so sorry.
And that was them. All right, so I'll talk to a little bit about the story and the way I tell stories, right? Like, I make films. I don't like to be called an independent filmmaker, just because it's a connotation that goes with that people think it's not going to be on the level that my productions are. I'm a person who makes films independently, but I'm not, an indie filmmaker. Just because there's some connotation around that I don't agree with. So when I write story, I want to challenge my people. I trust our intelligence, right? I trust us to be able to follow a plot line, because I make movies for black people that other people can enjoy. Like, that's what I do. I don't apologize for that. That's my audience. That's my background. That's who I am. And when I find actresses like Wakeema, actors like Tobias, and I hand them these words, it's up to them to give you guys that feeling, right? And I can direct them, but I also just give them the stage to say, own this character. We spoke about the character, and I give her a lot of credit. She asked for the whole script. A lot of actors don't do that. It's hard to get work, right? So they like, give me the sides, let me read it. Oh, I'll do it. I'm flying to Puerto Rico. You're going to pay me good? I'll do it. She cared about the character, about the scope of it. Yeah. And then we talked about it. And we built Giselle together until I was comfortable to say, now take her and make her what people will love, hate, and everything in between. And so those subtleties, that nuance, that's talent. She did that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you are a professional.
Yes. Well, look at your resume.
that.
And I was like, okay, she does a lot of things. And I noticed that when you start paying attention, when I was watching the film, and I was like, wow, this is really a good cast. I know a lot of these, actors. What else do I want to know? I want to know, how was because basically when y'all had the talk back, it looked like you had good camaraderie with the rest of the cast. What was that like, being in Puerto Rico together? Like, what was that like?
It was amazing. We filmed this at the height of the pandemic. So this was an opportunity to get out of our homes, out of the spaces we were in, because we were all at home going crazy. You have cabin fever. You want to work. You want to do your art, and at that time, nothing was really happening in the world, So it brought us out of that space and brought us into this amazing creative space. And we all lived together in like these amazing huge houses that were right on the beach. So it was really like a family affair, like a family environment. And it was just super supportive. And it was black in the best way. Because I think sometimes, unfortunately, when people say, oh, it was so black, it has a negative connotation to it, unfortunately. This was not that. This was the best of blackness ever.
Yes.
It was so good. And we had a lot of local people that brought their flavor to it, and they were happy to be there. So it was a great experience, and I think you can see how that spilled over into the film and just in the way that we interact with each other.
No, really. I mean,
used
it was.
to run day camps.
Oh, did you?
I ran day camps. I ran, sleepaway camps. And that skill set was important because we flying people from all over the country to Puerto Rico. I'm managing housing, right? A good friend of mine owned all of these properties, which was a blessing, right? And so I got to make sure that they're comfortable. I got to make sure that we're together, right? And so that I underestimated how much that would impact what they did on screen. I just, make sure my people good, right? They're all out here trusting me, so I had to make sure they were good. But just that feeling of ease to be in a comfortable space, it just allowed them to just kill it.
Yeah. And like what I appreciated, it was sexy, definitely. And, we obviously see scenes where we know there's sex. But it wasn't oversaturated. Like, I didn't feel like, all right, we got to see all the booty all night. Everything is out all the time. And it's all about selling your body or the other castmates' bodies rather than selling an actual story. Talk about what it's like to write above the standard for what we see in film right now, right? Because there is certain, it's not what it was, to your point.
It's nasty. It's nasty work out here. And it's a challenge, but it's one that I embrace because the films I love are those 90s black films, right? That Love and Basketball, that, The Wood, those films, right? And the women in this film are beautiful. The men in this film are handsome, put together. My beautiful baby lights up the screen every time she shows up. My niece, and they had a different pressure because it's like, are they in the movie because that's my daughter and my niece?
No, they were.
Because
they were probably two
listen,
of my favorite characters.
They were incredible.
And I really, I appreciated their professionalism. They did their homework. They had tutors. They were out of school for weeks. But I talked to my daughter. I'm like, listen, you have to show that you're not here because your name's Noel Calloway. And what she did, and I'm super biased, of course, but this is the feedback also, no one else would have done that role the way she did it.
No, she's
right?
her.
And so yet to your point about just staying above the fray, these scripts, I've been pitching my films and my scripts across the industry for 15 years. They say no, or they give me notes that I can't live with. Right? Because they want to oversex us. They want to over-violence us. They want to over-curse word us. And, we are who we are, right? We speak how we speak. We act how we act. And I love that. I'm not apologizing for that ever. But there are so many different layers of who we are as black people.
Yeah.
And we've got enough of the other stuff. Right? And so we can make, my whole life, I'm from Harlem, I'm from 153rd Street and 8th Avenue. I have been cool my whole life. Without being anything but who I am. And it's too many young people who don't get to be who they are because media and imagery doesn't show different types of cool, right? And so the films I write, I will always show different types of cool, different types of beautiful, different types other than what's out there. And it's not a force because this is really life, right? This is a real family that went on a vacation for a wedding and shit went crazy. Right. That's real, and
what's more forced is the over-sexualization of us. Like,
so tired. I know, for me as an actress, it was so refreshing to get a character that wasn't hypersexualized, especially just as a black woman in the society that we live in. I feel like people want and expect us to lead with our sexuality first, as if that's the best thing we have to offer. And I think we owe more to the kids than that. Like the reason why they don't know who they are is because during their formative years, that is what they're seeing. That is the standard. So they think maybe that's what I should be doing if I want to get ahead, because all the women I see who are getting ahead are using themselves and their body in that way. So I think it's really important to have that kind of representation that isn't about that and isn't leading with your body, because we have so much more to offer than that.
Right,
because you can do your
everybody
body.
should,
Yeah,
everybody should do what they do.
A little raunchy every now and then.
Yes.
Because I want to watch that. But I love the fact that this movie was based more on romance and affection, right? That's what Black Love
R&B.
that we exactly.
Yeah, it's an R&B movie, and we need hip hop, but we need R&B.
Exactly.
Affection, I love that
energy.
term.
You know what I'm saying? I love the energy. It brought you back to that '90s nostalgia, era. And that was, for me, that was one of the best times of black movies.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Even though we got a lot of different things, and I'm not knocking none of it, but those movies are
the
classics, and they don't go away. And
Ever.
I think this movie has the potential to go into that,
Yes.
you know, into that realm. So, you know, I want to congratulate you.
That's
on
a huge
just,
compliment because that's
you know,
the goal.
yeah,
Like
that's
I
the
want
goal.
I want where you can on a weekend it's snowing
Yeah.
and you watching Love and Basketball and then Aurora,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you watch like where it just flows. You watching Brown Sugar and Aurora, you know, and it's like, oh, these are the movies we're watching with my girls, with my couples retreat, whatever. Like I want to fit in that space. That's my ambition, is to be that storyteller that fits in that space. And that's, again, I got a lot of films that we're gonna keep fighting to make them this way, and not let the others shift that.
Yeah, let's talk about that fighting, right? Because this industry is, as you said, is weird, it's nasty, it's hard to break into. And you all, I mean, I know you. You know, this is not the first time that I'm seeing you on screen. Like, in fact, when your character appears, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good, right? Tobias, the same thing. Oh, you know what I mean? There was several characters that I know. So you didn't have it wasn't a B minus film. This is A-list here. These are people who are real actresses and real actors. And I guess that helps. But even with that, if you don't provide the violence, the whatever it is, you still can get shut down, right, in the industry. So how difficult is it to make the money necessary to keep this type of writing and this type of experience on, or to get it to the mainstream level, put it that way?
Yeah. I always use the analogy is soul food or is fast food, right? I'm making soul food. It's harder. You got to season the chicken. You got to clean the chicken, right? you gotta let the grease get hot, right? Like you could pop the nuggets in the microwave, everybody eat, but you're not fulfilled, right? And so yes, it's absolutely a fight, right? Because the people who make decisions don't trust our intelligence as a culture, as an audience. They say this is what your people want to see, and I say you got some nerve telling me what my people want to see. I've lived, like I didn't come up in Hollywood. I live with this. I've taught camps. Like I'm in and among. I still coach girls. I'm among the audience, right? I know what we're craving for, right? And so again, Wakeema, you said, these are not B-list anything. These are star actors and actresses that just need a screen, right? But they sit across that desk and they tell you, oh, you don't have, I'm not going to shout them out because we might need to do business with them. But I got a really big distributor. They liked the movie. They said, they wrote a glowing rejection letter. Amazing storytelling. Cinematography's brilliant. The acting was great. But these names don't meet our criteria for distribution.
Wow. That's impossible.
Direct to my face on paper, right? With the big letterhead at the top from one of the big boys, right? And this is what they do. And so I take that and I'm like, because I'm defiant, I'm like, nah, I'm making it with the right people, right? Because we could keep recycling this 50-something-year-old woman to play this 20-something-year-old bride and smack a bunch of makeup on her and get that deal, right? Because they trust that person has an audience.
But how much will you compromise in order to like, obviously all of us have to compromise.
Yeah. So that's my fight. My wife's an accountant. That's our fight. Because she's like, what we doing? But I trust the process. I really do. I trust our audience. And that's really what it comes down to, right? The same way we tweet and post and argue, there are topics in this film to discuss, right? If that discussion hits social media and people talk about it and then people engage, then it shows that this film has an audience. I don't think it's a bias. I think they care about money, the people that we need to support us on the other side of the desk, right? Who are not always white people, right? I've gotten some of the worst critiques from our people in terms of what they try to make me make. That's why certain networks I don't even entertain. I don't want to deal in certain places. Again, I'm not here to start no fights. I'm not going to say no names. But there are networks where I'm like, I'm good. because they're not for the culture, right? And we don't have to get on a soapbox and pound our chest to be for the culture. We just got to be respectful to it. And so, yes, I do compromise in as long as I could look at myself in the mirror, right? Like, I'm not going to embarrass us ever. Like, y'all could trust that. Like, if my trajectory and what I'm building and what I'm doing, we're shooting another movie in 5 weeks, right? Another one in the summer. Like, I'm not going to stop. And ultimately, people will start to trust my voice, and then the audience will build. Once that happens, y'all don't got to worry about me. Like, I'm never going to embarrass us. I'm always going to make sure we good, right? And it's just about earning that.
That's what it
Keep
is.
going.
I think you sound a lot like us in the work that we do. You know, we fight against the social norms. We fight against the status quo. They told us we can't do it this way, and why don't y'all say it this way? Even with our podcast, we deal with things and of that nature.
I see it.
Understand, you know what I'm saying? We understand that we fighting an uphill battle, but we know when we get what we got, we good. And the people who would support us is good. We not gonna, like you said, we're not gonna let y'all down. We're not gonna embarrass you. We're gonna always stand firm in our convictions because we know what it's like to be where we're from. We know what we want. We know what we need. We know what our people want from us. So we're not willing to compromise that to fit into certain rooms. You know, and it's like you said, it's soul food is a slow process, but every time we get another level, it's more gratifying.
Right.
Yes.
Because we know we didn't compromise, especially our morals and our values, what we definitely stood on. So I appreciate you. I applaud y'all. And we know this movie's gonna do great. You guys have what it takes. You know, I want y'all to tell. We've seen the movie. I want y'all, the people watching. Each of y'all tell them why should they go see the movie right
and how.
I say that this is a movie that will get you thinking. This is a movie that will get you talking, no matter who you watch it with. You can watch it alone. You can watch it with your boo cuddled up. You can watch it with your girls. And there's a conversation to be had that will be mentally stimulating and will be entertaining and will, get the blood flowing. So you will thoroughly enjoy this film. See it.
Yes, and you can see it anywhere. Again, we're in 30 cities. We know it's cold on most of the country, so you don't have to go outside. You can watch it at home. Amazon's an easy one, but it's on all digital platforms. Whatever your cable system is, if you people who still got that, go to your pay-per-view. You can just search Aurora Love Story, and it's available. And you should watch it because it's told in your voice. It's for us. It's by us. It's unapologetically black. But it's not black for black's sake. At no point in this movie are we trying to prove our blackness, right?
We're just trying to show you.
With language and just certain. That's what I also hate when it's
you
like.
didn't do the super ghetto.
Yeah, we ain't got to do it. I can't be anything else, right? Yeah. Like my daughter can't. She's in private school and she's living a different life, but she's still not even removed enough to be anything else, right? And so we don't have to force it. And I think this is a movie, aside from just who Wakeema said, this is a multi-generational cast and a multi-generational story, right? There's something for the teenagers and the young kids that can gravitate toward those characters. There's something for our elders who can gravitate toward the parents, and then for everybody else in between. So, yeah, I'm super, super proud. Like you said, when you get something like this and you're able to put it on the screen, despite whatever hurdles you had to go through, it feels so much better that I never have to sit watching this and say, man, I wish I wouldn't have listened to so-and-so, right? Wherever happens with it,
I'm good.
I love it.
Good at night.
Love it. So when you finish a movie, how does it feel? Like for me, when I'm watching a series or something and it's over, I'm just like, life is over. Like, where's life now? I got to find new life. So, like, what happens to you at the end of a filming process, especially with something like this? Are you just tired and you're like, that's it? Or do you have a feeling like a little hole for the people and the experience?
It varies per project, but I will say that, like Noel said, he has other movies coming out. So we all knew we were going to see each other again, that we'll be working on future projects together. But of course, it's a little bittersweet, right? Because you're like, wow, this was amazing. Like Puerto Rico, this experience, just like the you know, when you work with your own people, there's so much that doesn't even have to be said or explained. There's just this layer of support under you. And just having to go into your next project knowing that you probably won't have that. You're going to have to get used to going back to being like, you know, your own advocate for every single thing. But you kind of just brace yourself and you say, well, I'm going to look forward to the next time I can get back to these people. The next time I get back to a project that has this type of love involved in it.
That's why we need more, right? Like, I'm not here to be the one. You know, I want 10 directors to come out of our camp, right? Male, female, black, brown, right? Where those sets look and feel like that, right? You know how crazy we were going making sure we had the right hair and makeup in Puerto Rico?
Oh, that's a
right?
thing.
I appreciate
Like,
that.
I wasn't going
That's
to
the
play
thing.
with these black women.
No, so I have a friend who is a superstar that we won't name today, who when I was dealing with some entertainment industry stuff, I was like, you know, going to a meeting to make a statement about something they weren't doing right. She calls me up and is like, hey, I need you to put this on your list of things, hair and makeup. And I'm thinking to myself, this is a superstar. When I say superstar, I'm talking about like big, right? Why don't you have black people doing your hair and makeup? What are you talking about? You? Like, I'm thinking she's walking in the door with everybody with her hair and makeup.
Nope.
No, she said it is basically white.
Yes.
And it's happened to me. By the way, there are a few magazine articles. I think maybe, I don't know if it's Vanity, but it's one of them that is like a big magazine that I'm in during the Women's March, and I look terrible.
Yes, and when you feel like you look terrible, you don't present yourself the same. You got low
I
self-esteem.
look terrible. So I started paying because during the Women's March, we were doing major press all the time.
Yeah.
If you see the cover of Glamour magazine that I'm on, that is my own makeup artist that I had to bring. And by the way, they don't even want you to have that person there. They tried to put her through all types of hoops and things. She had to have the right insurance. She couldn't be on the thing without $1 million worth of insurance. It was so much drama.
I feel like it's
for her
on
to do my
purpose, right?
face.
It feel like
It is on purpose.
I feel like, and that's
But why would a white woman do why? I don't even understand what we're
I think that sometimes they are genuinely convinced that they can do your hair. What do you mean I can't do your hair? I brought some oil sheen.
Right.
I have an edge comb. I can do your hair.
I
Yes.
Googled it.
I watched one YouTube video and I know what I'm doing. How dare you?
How dare you?
And that is the energy they give you. And sometimes it feels like a microaggression, but sometimes it's just aggressive. There's no micro about it. They come for you when you speak up for yourself and say, I feel uncomfortable. I need someone who knows how to do my hair. You see how these other women can come in with wet hair and you can do their hair from start to finish. I had to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning doing my own hair and then wake up early to make sure it looks good before I even get here. Because if I don't, I will look crazy.
Wow. Yo, the wet hair. Like, you could show up here and get a blowout.
And look fabulous.
And you're wonderful.
You're set.
Me, I got to do a thing.
Yes. I have to come done.
Yes.
And then try to argue with you so you don't touch it and mess it up.
Exactly.
Wow,
You want to change it.
Yes.
So
That's
you're
a good-
spending money.
Good job.
You're spending money.
Yes.
yeah.
Outside of the budget for what's supposed
Whatever
to
you
be
get
take
paid.
home,
Mhm.
right? You're spending money trying to make yourself look presentable, because then if you don't look presentable, then you're not acceptable, and then it's like we're constantly running through and just around
When
this
it's not
rat
us,
race.
when it's not us, and
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
like we can make a list a mile long of why we need more of our own, right? And there are things that go you don't even think about that, right? And I would not have thought about that had I not had a daughter now, right? Like, I have a teenage daughter, right? So she has friends, right? That's my group, right? Like, I'm with them. I'm the Magic School Bus. I'm with them. So their plight is my plight, right? And so, and again, I have a wife, a black wife, right? And so my black sisters. So when I'm going into a film and I'm thinking about the script and I'm thinking about this, at some point is that light bulb like, oh shit, who gonna do their hair in Puerto Rico?
And who gonna do their hair in Puerto Rico?
And so I'm like, oh, do I have to fly out hair and makeup? Because I have trusted hair and makeup here for all of my production, which is predominantly black.
Damn, that's
But,
expensive.
it's crazy. it's crazy. But there are people. I give them a lot of credit. A lot of them came up with me. A lot of them I gave their first opportunity to put anything on screen. So when I don't have the budget, they still show love because they know when I have it, I'm not taking it. I'm paying you, right? And so yeah, just all of the different things that I'm sure you guys. Again, that's why this was an honor because you getting your hair and makeup done to go and do press. It's like you're supposed to be fighting. No, I still have to. I'm a professional. This is going to carry. Like it's just the craziness that you got to endure.
When I
to
say
do
I
good
look
work.
terrible, I'm actually gonna show you. I'm gonna send it to y'all. See, I look. It's like I have a hat on my head, but it's actual hair. But it's like
Yes. Oh, I felt that in my soul.
You know what I'm talking about.
They ain't gonna. They don't care how it happened. Oh, look at her.
Man.
They forgetting the message.
I forgot the message.
Whether you want to or not, you're representing so many other women.
Yes.
You didn't ask for that. Maybe that's not what you want some days. But when you're representing a whole movement and a whole group of people, and then you feel terrible and you feel like you look terrible, that's an awful situation.
It is. I appreciate us being able to have this part of the conversation because I feel like I had a therapy session.
This is therapy because this thing, hair and makeup, she takes
keeps
it.
you up at night.
She takes it very serious.
I definitely,
She's very
and
serious.
as I should.
No, I'm not saying you should.
As I should.
She's serious, and she notices it. Like in different other things, she sees other black women. She's like, no, they're not doing this right. People need to be focused on this. So,
But I didn't see that in this film. Yeah, it's a problem.
Yes.
It's a problem. When like I said, when I got this call to add to my list of demands that I was making in this meeting, that I needed to talk about hair and makeup, I thought that was not a thing at her level. So this is a systemic problem. And, like you said, it's just one of the many reasons why we need more of us being in the director's seat, having the budget, having the ability to bring things to life. And you said you are a writer and director, but then I just heard you say that you were managing where people were sleeping. So you're the writer, the director, the manager, everything.
Food is right.
But that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
We gotta wear so many different hats.
That's right. That's right.
Until we don't, right? And that's like every time I do a project, I build more team, right? Like so now I have more people that are good, that are talented, that I can trust, right? Because one thing I couldn't do is leave anything to chance that we were putting on this screen, right? So I had to have my hand in every aspect of it, almost maniacally, because there are people, our people and other people, who are looking to say, see, it's not that good, right? See, look at this, right? And so I've been getting compliments. Some of them are offensive. Like, it's so well made.
Right.
The production looks clean.
Yeah. Like you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
like,
yes.
I've been at this for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
I've made mistakes. I've made bad stuff that people will never see. I've made okay stuff that have come out and people liked it, and I look at it like, right? And so now I'm getting to a point where I'm finding it. Like, I know how to do this. And so, yeah, it's just going to be more, and I'm just going to empower more of us and keep bringing us along. Again, my daughter's producing the next movie. She's not in it. She wants to be behind the scenes. She wants to, and so she's a producer, and she's killing me because she's like, she saw things that were challenges that she has now found solutions for. So she's telling me we're not going to do this like this next time. So I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna see how this works out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's dope.
Amazing. Aurora.
I look forward to the future, to the movies I'm going to be in.
Yep.
The movies I'm not going to be in. But no, for real, I really appreciate this film. I appreciate the energy that you guys have, the camaraderie. Just watching the film, you can tell that there's love, real synergy and love there. So go out and watch
Aurora. That's right.
And talk about it.
Yes.
Talk about Aurora.
Tell us who you hate. Tell
Because
us who you like.
I love the dimensions of love in it. That's what it is. Because a lot of people won't understand certain dimensions of love. You look at him and be like, what? Then you look at her and be like, what?
Yeah, because you got a crazy sister.
So
you
you
know
got
about
it.
the sister thing.
Yeah. Protective love.
Yes.
Parent love.
Elements of love that you see in it. So make sure you go out and support Aurora, Noel.
Yes, Noel Calloway and Wakeema Hollis. Listen, Aurora is the thing to go and see. To everybody who's watching, you go see it just because we said so. That's what you do.
Take
Because
that.
that's it. That's it. And to our brother Aaron
Yes.
Gasson, who's
Hey.
a producer on this project.
From the Bronx.
Thanks for
Aaron from the
including
Bronx.
us.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
We love A. We love A.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you for this safe space. Thank you for the conversation. This has been amazing.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much for joining Street Politicians.
Amazing guests, man. New friends of the family.
New friends of the family.
Yeah, man. And you crazy? I didn't bring it up during the interview because I ain't wanna. But Noel used to live in my building in the Bronx.
Oh, really? What you mean you didn't wanna?
I mean, I was, but
What's wrong with that?
I mean, but I didn't want to put him on. I didn't want it to be too much. Because I guess.
Now, if you would have said that, well, I'm gonna call her Giselle now. That Wakeema lived in your building, I could understand you being like, I don't want to.
No, it wasn't even that. It's
But-
just that we got caught up in the interview and we was asking such questions about the movie that I ain't bring up. That, but yeah, he used to live in my building. Dope dude, and Wakeema's energy, like it was
She's
just dope.
amazing.
Amazing.
She's
man.
gonna be like, she's got the potential of, the Angela Bassett's of the world. Like she
Yeah,
just
she's
has
a
to
very good
keep
actress.
going.
Keep
and
going.
She's gonna be
Wakeema
incredible.
Hollis. Keep
Yeah,
going.
I like her.
I love both of them. I love the movie Aurora. Go see it. So that brings me to my I don't get it.
What don't you get?
And it goes back to what we already spoke about. We spoke about Tyree Nichols, and there was somebody else who spoke about Tyree Nichols this week, and I think it was probably the dumbest comment that I probably heard about anything. And it was Jason Whitlock. And his comment that the reason this happened to Tyree Nichols and the reason why these officers did this to him was based on single parent homes, black women raising their sons being single.
Well, I think he also said something about, which I'm assuming, I never looked into it, but I'm assuming what he's also saying is that the woman, the chief of police, Chief Davis.
Oh, that too. Oh, no. That's, yes. He's saying that she
is a single
woman.
mother.
And she is pretty much the mother of the police department.
Yeah.
So she can't raise, like, he said so many multi-dimensional trash shit that it was one of the most thoughtless.
He thought about it.
No, you couldn't have thought of it. You couldn't think that it made sense.
Yes, he did.
During the time that a mother had lost her child, right? To make a statement like that.
He
right?
thought about it.
A black woman lost her child at the hands of the police, and you thought blaming a black woman for what happened to this black man made sense.
It did to him.
But you couldn't. There's no way that you. I don't get how you thought that makes sense. I can't see the logic that a man has said that. Yeah, man. If it wasn't for single mother families, this black man would still be alive. If it wasn't the woman who was running the police department, if she wasn't a single woman, then he'd still be alive. I don't understand. And the woman who lost her child was a black woman, and you thought that made sense to say.
Well, I feel like he accomplished exactly what he wanted, which was he captured the attention, the social media following, the outrage, and conversations that, he's a hashtag as far as he's concerned, because people are out here like, I can't believe that he said it, and that makes them talk about him. People like that, trolls, they don't care how they get attention. They just want attention. And he did think about it. He sat and crafted a very intentional He sat and crafted a very intentional statement that is to further the mission of the Fox News brand and what it is that they represent. That's where he said it. So he's on a network that provides a platform to racists, to people who want to be white supremacists, to white supremacist theory, to people who wish that they can create, as far as I'm concerned, just, to create a very prominent, oppressed society. Like, these are people who their everyday thought process is how to dehumanize the entire black race as much as possible, even using some of our own, so that they can create their new world order. I mean, this is very intentional. So when you say you don't believe it makes sense,
no, it doesn't make sense, and I understand what you're saying. It's just like shit happens that we see, but it doesn't make sense. We know that it happens,
Okay, well.
but it still doesn't go along with regular logic. So what he's done is further white supremacy, just like these officers.
And that's
did.
exactly
so
right.
He's contributed to the same exact, the same exact narrative, the same exact objective that the people in the system that created these officers is, and he doesn't even realize it. And he probably does realize it. Well, sometimes, you know what it is? I really don't think they realize. I think a lot of people, especially black people, who feed into white supremacy, have been sipping the tea for so long that they don't even realize. They think that they saying shit. Yo, black people need this, man. You don't need no single parent. That's what it is. And those things, and the black woman is the problem. And all of these issues that feeds white supremacy to continue its narrative. And they've brought into it because they've been accepted into these spaces. A lot of them. There's a lot of these black-faced individuals that I see that walk into these white spaces, and they utilize this verbiage and this dialogue and these narratives, and they're celebrated. The white people say, that's what we're trying to tell you.
But they still not
That's why
accepted.
you need us. But they think they are, because
Yeah,
they
they
sit there
think
and they
they are.
hug them, and just like the black man, they realize how quick they lost their jobs, how quick they got charged, and then now, we just seen that the other officer, but it didn't happen.
Which you talking about?
The white guy.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That we
right.
always talk about. But this is what I'm saying. So the reality is, when brothers like that, the man with the black face, and they talk like that, and they feed this false narrative, it's people who've committed crimes, who come from two-family homes, who come from, they had a father, they lived with the grandmother, the father, the mother, and they still committed crimes. They committed
This
even more
this is a big
heinous
truth.
crimes. So to continue to create this narrative, a lot of these people are successful. If you look at, a lot of these people committed, they went to college.
Right.
They did all the things that you said
Oh,
that
yeah.
they're supposed to do. So,
we know.
At some point they made decisions that they wanted to be on the side of the oppressor.
Mm-hmm.
They figured they wanted this power that comes with it. They brought into a system, and that's what we say about the police system. The system is systemically racism. The system
Racist, yes, it is.
Racist. The system is systemically racist. It makes you believe that you can harm black people and get away with it. They tell you how to do it.
That is justified.
It's justified.
Yeah.
If you listen to them say, "Oh, you're resisting arrest, you're going from out," they know there's a playbook.
Right.
There's a playbook. And if we'd had, and I say this all the time, we had not seen this video, they would have got away with the playbook.
As they do every day.
As they do
we just
all the
need
time.
to keep repeating
all
that.
we got to do is say, "I felt threat for my life. He went for my weapon." And if we didn't have this videotape that showed clearly every hit, every kick, every stomp, the man being incapacitated and beat, if we had not seen that,
The tasing of the white
tasing,
officer.
if we had not seen all these things, we would still be sitting there saying justice for this person.
Yeah,
And be like,
and,
we have to do a full
Or
investigation.
we might not.
Or
we might not be saying justice.
People would be like,
for
"Yo,
him.
why we don't know what he did."
We
'Cause
need to see what happened
We need to
before.
see what happened before. This is,
Yeah,
and it'd be
yeah.
black people.
Yeah.
Y'all see, that's what y'all doing, man. See what happened before. People just need to comply. You can't just not do what the police tell you. You need to get on your knees. You need to do all this shit, man. So, I just want to say to Jason Whitlock, I can't say that. I just can't say that.
I'm just not even sure why people are even talking about it. Like, to me, I feel like it's a waste of my. You know what? I just don't have room. There are people out here that they make space to ensure that like there's a counter narrative, and I respect that. So they need to do that, and we support it. And
But that ain't the
but
counter
I
narrative.
just don't have it.
That ain't the one.
I'm saying people who are countering what he said. You got D.L. Hughley out there. You got Amanda Seales out there. Of course, you have Teslin Figaro. You got people that are pushing back against what he said, and so I'm saying they make the space, even though they have crazy busy lives and all of that, but they make the space from a media perspective to ensure that there is a counter narrative, and I support them doing that, and where I can lend my thoughts and ideas so that they can help to develop, you know, their full statement and their full opinion, or their full opinion about these issues. I want to do that. However, I don't have the space in my life to let Jason Whitlock like come into my dreams. I can't deal with it. I don't, because you know me, I take the shit to my dream. It'll be all night. I'll be up writing stuff, texting everybody. You know how I start. And when I get into it, I want to talk to everybody that I'm close to be like, did you hear this? Why did he say? I can't do it. So I just tell Jason Whitlock, peace. That's it. It's other words. It's other words, but we're not going to say it. Other words that I've outgrown. But. No, you haven't.
I'm trying.
No, you aren't.
You aren't. Go to the Frank stand. Go to the Frank stand. They selling Franks. Jason Whitlock. Go buy you a couple of Franks. So as Jason Whitlock heads to the Frank stand, we're gonna end this week's episode. Shout out to Noel Calloway. Shout out to Wakeema Hollis.
The writer and producer / management / travel agent / everything for this great film, and of course the star. And yes, she is a star.
She is definitely a star. That brings us to the end of another episode.
Yeah.
Back in the studio today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right, for the Aurora.
For the Aurora cast, we had to sit down personal
and
do that interview. So, #1 podcast in the world, Street Politicians. You know how we do it.
#1 in our heart.
You know how we do it. I'm not going to always be right. Tamika D. Mallory's not going to always be wrong, but we will both always, and I mean always, be authentic. Salute.
Listen to Street Politicians on the Black Effect Network on iHeartRadio.
And catch us every single Wednesday for the video version of Street Politicians on iWomen.tv.